How to manage disagreements, discomfort in your relationship, conflict, anything that happens in your relationship. There are two sorts of discomfort in any relationship. We have the conflict. Conflict is where deep emotion stems from. Conflict is where anger, bitterness, this is where you're fighting power struggle. You're fighting for your voice to be heard. You want your identity. You want to be seen. You want to be appreciated. Some of these things, it stems from conflict. And then we have disagreement. Disagreement is where we call it different opinions. So how do you deal with disagreement in your relationship? Anytime there's a disagreement or something happens in a relationship, the first thing we want to do is we look at the problem. There's nothing wrong with that. But what happens is anytime you look at the problem, it becomes very gigantic because it is the problem that has actually caused the discomfort in a relationship. So what do? Instead of looking at the problem, look at your spouse. Who is your spouse to you? If you're able to allow the problem to flow through how you see your spouse, it makes things very, very easy to handle. In other words, pretend as if you're standing in front of a king or a queen and they've done something or something is happening around you that you're not happy about. The first thing you think about is you're mindful of where you are, how you operate, how you want to be seen. Hence, your behavior pattern is very, very different. So always see the problem through the lens of who you see your spouse to be. It makes things so much easy for you to handle. Number 2, don't move straight with anger or perceptions, how you perceive them. This is very dangerous because you straight away, the first thing you want to say is like, you do this all the time. This is why like this. This is why like this. In other words, you formed an opinion about your spouse and you are operating from that angle. You have to see whatever happened in context. In other words, you want to use words like, I can't believe you did this. I feel very, very hurt. I feel you don't trust me. When you do this kind of things, it hurts me. Everything you are doing is all about when, how, and why. Why is it so important for you to do that? When you are operating in this kind of context, you are allowing your spouse to feel your pain. You are allowing your spouse to understand that this has hurt you. In other words, they pause and think. When conflict is on or whatever you are dealing with heightens or it becomes so gigantic, you lose focus of who your spouse is. So don't operate in a generalized point of view by perceptions. Operate in context. Number 3, focus on how your spouse is feeling. It is so important. The more you understand how your spouse is feeling, the more you listen. The more you listen, you're creating an awareness. The more you're creating an awareness, it fosters an understanding of the magnitude of the impact, whatever is the problem is having on your spouse. You are not consumed with yourself. So you focus. Number 4, in your relationship, try and find a structure whereby you have intimate conversations. This is where painful stuff are discussed. This is where you talk about your pain. So find time in the week. We call it intimate time. It can be the time you go to bed. Spend those time to talk about painful stuff. It's so important. Or coffee time or something, whatever it is. Make sure you structure a time in the week whereby both of you can deal with painful stuff. Number 5, remember, this is your wife. This is your spouse. This is not your enemy. It is so important. If things flow through this kind of lens, it makes it easier for you to deal and handle with disagreements. My name is Abigail Bokwe, and until I come your way again, remember, change starts from the one that wants change. So, lead the way. Bye.